Welcome to the Fit Fat Dad podcast, the podcast where it's two dads, Graham, myself, and Blair, who are kind of fit, kind of fat, talking all things dad. Coming at you solo tonight. Going to do another bonus episode. This one is on distractions, and going to cut right to the chase tonight. This was an episode I filmed a while back that is really great material, a lot of great things to learn in terms of how to deal with distractions, how to eliminate distractions, and coming off of how to eliminate the hurry. Distractions is a huge piece of that. So no hashtag dad life moment today. We'll get back into that next week. Got a surprise guest next week who's just going to absolutely knock it out of the park. We are so excited to have this guest, but I'm going to keep that secret under lock and key until we can get to it. But expect that next week. And without further ado, I'm going to get into the previous content that I cut, how to deal with distractions. I wanted to talk today about distractions. There are a lot of distractions in this world, and I kind of wanted to break down four main things with distractions and kind of walk through that. Obviously, there's a lot more things that you could probably list for distractions, but I wanted to talk through what they are. I recently read a book called Undistracted, and it's really just kind of the overall theme is we get so distracted with the day-to-day, with our phones, with social media, with everything, our agendas, our calendars, our friends. We're more distracted now than we've ever been, and you guys know this, you dads know this. And it's hard to keep up, and you lose focus, and you lose sight, and before you know it, years have gone by, and you don't feel like you've progressed, or you don't feel like you've engaged, or you don't know where you're at in life. And I kind of wanted to touch on that a little bit today. So distractions. So I'm going to give you my four things of how to eliminate distractions. Well, I don't know that we can eliminate distractions, but we can mitigate distractions. How about that? And number one, it's more of a fact of life, but we are so busy looking up, looking down, looking all around that we're not sure where we are and or where we came from. We're in a reactive mode, and we're grinding it out, and everything that the day throws at us, we're just reacting to. And the distractions that get us in that spot make us that way because we've not properly gotten to a point where we're focused and we're looking ahead. We're not looking back to see how we could have prevented certain things. And that happens in the daily grind, especially with kids and, everything that goes into keeping up with your kids and your family and your wife's calendar and your calendar and everything in between. And it happens. So kind of the way that I would break this down is when you're so distracted and you don't know where you're at in life, you gotta find ways to slow it down and look at hindsight, the past. And when I look at hindsight in the past, and a lot of the times when we're in a distracted place, we can get to where we've been praying for something, or hey, God, I need you to move in my life this way, or hey, God, I need you to bring me here, or I'm not where I want to be in work, or things aren't working out the way that they want in my marriage, or things aren't working out the way that I want with my family. But we continue to react to every email that comes in, or we continue to just, every time we get a moment of free time, we zone out and log on to Instagram or Facebook and look at certain things. And it occupies the time that we would have to reflect. And what I've learned in the hindsight is that's truly where you can see where you've gotten to in life, maybe because some of the decisions that you've made, or maybe because it's decisions that you didn't made. But I've also noticed, most importantly, is that I can look back and see Jesus in the hindsight, and those prayers, whether they were answered the way that I wanted them to be, there's been impact. And it took me mapping out, here's where I am, here's what I was praying for, and here are key steps that happened in the past, and things are happening the way that God is wanting them to happen. And there's no such things as coincidences, but you've got to go back and you've got to track back and see some certain points in your life that uh, we'll just call them divine intervention. And you miss that if you don't look back and reflect. You also learn a lot from your past. And I am definitely guilty, but where I've been trying to get to is taking a look at things that have happened, because I'm not defined by my past, I'm defined by my future. But I break it down and try to learn from it as best I can. And call me a nerd. I mean, I may just break out a piece of paper and write 3 takeaways of, hey, here's what happened. How could it be prevented? What can I control? And what can I learn from it and prevent it from happening again? The second part of that is the future. Again, go back to the key state of we don't know where we're at because we're so distracted. The future is where we plan things. And to me, the planning is the fun piece, because if we're just continually reactive to every day and to anything that somebody is requiring our energy to, we don't make time for us. We don't make time for your family. You don't make time for your wife, date night. You don't make time to celebrate joy, vacation, whatever it is, time off, relaxation. I've talked to so many people that's like, hey, I haven't had a vacation day in 3 years. Why is that? Did you just, I mean, is that a badge of courage, a badge of joy for you? You don't seem like you're happy. You don't seem like you're, you know, uh, celebrating working 3 days. So why did you do that? You didn't plan for something, and then you're gonna dig into people that do plan to take time off or take a vacation. So again, you got to make time and you got to make space to plan ahead. But if you do that, you'll start to see that there's joy in the planning process and joy in saying, hey, in 3 months, I want to go to this place and we're going to do this and that and this, and we're going to have fun. And we're just going to make it the best time ever. Now I have something to look forward to. Now I have something to build at and work better at every day. And it just doesn't have to be for vacation. It can be, here's where I'm at in my career, and I want to be here. And I'm solely going to own it and take the steps necessary to get to where I want to be, rather than every day asking for a handout and saying, hey, boss man, where's my raise? Where's my promotion? That's not going to happen in life. You've got to earn it. You've got to plan. You've got to go ahead and get it. And if we're distracted, we miss both the reflection and the planning ahead. And lastly, is in the present. You got to be where your feet are. And that's something that Blair says all the time. I think he stole it from somebody. We steal everything from everybody. But you got to be where your feet are. And that takes time to just breathe and enjoy the moments that God has created. And that can just be getting outside in nature, stepping away from your computer, stepping away from your phone, stepping away from your email, stepping away from your kids, whatever you need. Get out there and enjoy the moment. And there's times in my career where I frequently just get on the day to day and the grind, but I've been trying to be really grateful of the moments that I have. And I've been traveling a lot. I've been to Chicago. I've been to New York City. I've been to several other places just in the month of January alone. And while I can have an attitude of, I'm away from my family, I can't catch up with the day to day because I'm also traveling, I'm having to be in all these other meetings, I can have that attitude, but I'm choosing to have the attitude of, not many people get to do and go to the places that I get to go. And I've really embraced that and just have tried to get out in the places that I go, breathe the other city air, look at the other sites. And it may require me getting up at 4:35 a.m. to do it before meetings and a work day, but I'm being where my feet are. And I think that is just, we have to stay in the present as much as we can. And, we can't numb our realities, whatever they may be. We have to accept them. We have to control what we control and move on for it. So that's my number one. Number two, think of phone use as cheating your family. That's a big one. I'm guilty of it. We're all guilty of it. I recently just downloaded this game. I'm not going to tell you what game it is, but it's a football game. And I tell you what, brother, I have played that game more than I could even want to admit. The weekly reports that iPhone pushes me over the week, and I see that, I try to blame that on my kids. Hey, my kids have been watching whatever YouTube, playing their own games, but that's me. I'm owning that. And it's not a good report, and I hate that they have that, but it's a reality check. And not only me on my phone, but hey, any dads out there, let's take the parent babysitter, the iPad, put the kids on that. We're going to gain time, and we can go veg out on Netflix. That's what me and the wife have been doing. And while that may be great, and we feel like we're spending quality time, I'm distracted by the tube and Netflix. They're distracted by their iPads, and hours go by, and we haven't talked to each other. And we see that as a good thing. But what follows are bad attitudes from the kids when you have to take it away. They don't want to mind. They're resistant to doing anything. I feel personally like I haven't accomplished because I've sat on the couch the whole day, and I feel guilty for doing that. I could have spent quality time with my wife talking to her, but I didn't. I decided to watch a Netflix series. And I'm not saying that that's bad all the time, but that's usually what happens on a after work basis. We call that spending family time watching family movies, but I think we're distracting ourselves, and we're not digging into what it is. And so that always turns into the phone. We're watching a TV show, every commercial break, there's a phone. Apple tells you, Samsung, whatever you're using, how much distracted time you've spent during a week. And I guarantee you the amount of time that it tells you at the end of the week that you could have spent 80% of that time doing something else. So that's something I really need to get better at. And I encourage the dads out there listening. I mean, think about that. I mean, hey, you spent 8 hours on the phone this week, and here's what you were doing. What could you have done with that 8 hours that made you feel better? Think about the joy that has been not created by being distracted or using your phone time, and creating the artificial joy of looking at people who like your post or like your video or looking at that meme that made you laugh. That's not as important as the time that you could have spent with your family, or you could have been doing something productive and done some continual learning or working out, whatever it is, whatever in your life that you need to improve on. I'm pretty sure there's a lot of time that you spend on that phone that you could swap it for. The other thing I would say is that when we're on our phones and distracted, or reading that email, that it not only steals our joy, but that we can miss Jesus in the room. And there's a lot of times, going back to the point where we've been praying for something or we've been asking for a miracle, but we don't stop to look around to see how that's playing out. There's been many a times, and it can be as simple as a big meeting, a big presentation that you have, or you just need your kids to get good grades in school, or whatever. How many times have you've gotten that prayer answered? Like, you did well at that meeting. You had the wisdom that you prayed for. You had the words in your mouth that you needed to speak, or your kids got an A on that test, or your, wife did really well at her work meeting, gathering, whatever. And you just move on. And you don't acknowledge that the prayer was answered. You don't acknowledge how certain things that happened in that room played out that only God could have made happen, or somebody looked at you differently because they saw the light of God on you, and you were shining that light. How many times do you just check the box, move on, got to get to the next thing because I got to run, and you'll miss that, and you don't have time to just kind of look back and say, "Wow, that really was a prayer answered." I do that all the time, and I'm trying to get better at that, but a lot of the times, if we're distracted, we miss that, what God has provided for us. So number 3, experiences. So not just experiences, but applied experiences. And in the book I was referencing, experience is the thing you gain the moment after you need it. So what I call, and I can't remember if it was John Maxwell or not, but if you haven't read John Maxwell books, he is the king of leadership, and I highly recommend that you check him out. But whether it's family, work, brotherhood of your friends, whatever you're leaning into, we all have experiences that teach us lessons. And that's the reason for that quote is experience is the thing you gain the moment after you need it. And why I said at the beginning, not experiences, but applied experiences. And what I mean by applied experiences is, and it goes back to point number one, is looking at the hindsight and what has happened in that experience. What did you learn from it? What didn't you learn from it that you wanted to learn from it? What could have been your mindset going into it? How could you have had a better mindset? Who were the people that you needed to talk to? Or maybe it's a vacation. Did you see everything that you needed to see? If you had to do it again, how would you do it differently? I know those things sound silly and it may sound like a waste of time, but I guarantee you, if you were to just even ask yourself one question and digest that and chew on that and let it manifest, and now you have a new perspective of improving, even if it's 1% on the experience that you had. It could be going to your kid's basketball game and maybe you were just a little bit too hard on him because he didn't perform the way that you wanted to. That would be an experience. Okay, it happened. I can't change it, but why did it happen? Why did I feel that way? How was, my kid's reaction to that? How was my reaction, and how can I not have that happen again? But we don't, that is a really hard thing to do, and that's a mindset that you have to get into, and I encourage everybody to do it. It's a really hard thing to do because it takes time, and I would encourage journaling. I know that sounds like the hipster thing to do now, but that's been around forever, and it really allows us to get our thoughts out on paper and feel accomplished in a way of, here is where I was at. Here is what I'm learned. Here's how I'm moving forward. So I encourage you to do that, and then find a way, even if it's on your iPhone notes app. Here's the experience. Here are the things that I want to talk about it and improve upon it, and file it. Uh, in the notes app, there's a way you can hashtag it just like on social media to categorize it, and you can go back and you can pull it and find it, and do that on all your things, on lessons learned and experiences. And I guarantee you, as you file these and you look at where you're filing these and you go back to find those things when you get in a similar situation and you look at what you've learned from it, now you're going to be that much more prepared. You're going to be that much better of a dad, a leader, whatever it is that you're trying to better yourself on. So uh, experiences. So moving on to the last one is kind of a thing that, so if we look at distractions as just going with the flow, wherever the stream takes us is where we're going to go. And in this book, it has a great quote: the only things that go with the flow are dead fish, right? So if we're going to go with the flow, consider yourself a dead fish. But let's assume we're not going with the flow, because that's what we're here to do. We're not to go with the flow. But don't wait on your vision or dream. Do it now. Don't let distractions delay. And there was a few things that really stuck out to me. And this is really more work oriented, but most people pick their careers and backfill their lives with the space left over. What if you did that the other way around? I'm going to read that one more time. Most people pick their careers and backfill their lives with the space left over. Backfill. What a, come on. That's not good. I don't want to backfill my life around the grind. I know the grind is a means to the end. And if you're doing what you truly love and you're doing passion, that may never be a problem. But there's statistics out there that I promise you, it's like 70% of people don't like what they do. That's a terrible way to live. Yeah, I got it. putting food on the table, whatever. But if you can't find joy in what you're doing, why don't you start with the joy, build everything else around it? And the other one is pick where you want to live first. Don't let the job decide for you. Great wisdom. And it works out. A lot of people will pick the job. They have to relocate. They're willing to, and they don't have a choice about it. That's fine. But the whole principle here is you define what you want to do and who you want to be and what you want to enjoy in life, and then plug everything else into it. Hey, big surprise. Making the most money in the world, or making 7 figures, or making 6 figures, or making whatever, it's not going to buy you happiness. So why not just obtain happiness, and then whatever you need to get that level of happiness, keep pursuing it. I guarantee you, dads out there, that you can be a lot happier with the relationships that you have, the experiences that you truly experience because you are where your feet are, and just continually to strive to be a better dad, a better man, a better individual is going to give you so much better joy in your life than taking a career path that's going to put you in a place that you may not want to be. It may give you more money, but you may have more stress that takes you away from your family. You may not have any family time. And as a dad, to me, family is the most important thing. I do want to strive and be very successful in my job. And I want to, make sure I'm serving people as best I can. But first things first. And that's what's going to, give me the ultimate satisfaction and joy, is that I'm serving my family and I'm with my family first. So don't wait on your vision or dream. Do it now. Do it now, people. Don't wait on it, because you're not guaranteed another second. You're not guaranteed another day. So you might as well just start building it now, and don't worry about what people say. You are your own critic. You get to decide where you're going to go. You are only limited by you. So that's a wrap for today. I appreciate you listening to me yammer on about distractions. Hopefully this didn't distract you, but hopefully this gives you a good boost, a good light for the remainder of the day. Hopefully you can take some nuggets, and even if you only listen to a couple of minutes, that's okay. We enjoy that you just took a little bit of time to listen to the Fit Fat Dad podcast, and we will be back next time, and we will have a extremely exciting episode. We are going to bring in some guests, and we are going to get after it. So that is it for me. Bless you, people. Have a good day.